Hey guys, and welcome on into the next off-season NHL preview show. Today I'm going to be talking all about the Pittsburgh Penguins, taking a look at their off-season ahead. Of course, draft picks and management, free agents, forwards, defensemen, and goaltending, as well as my off-season tasks for the Penguins at the end of the show. Make sure to hit the like button if you guys like the video, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and let me know in the comments below, what do you think the Pittsburgh Penguins need to do this offseason to get back to the Stanley Cup playoffs? Having said all that, we will get on started with the first segment here, which is draft picks and management. I'll start with management first. Kyle Dubas returns as general manager, but a coaching change. Mike Sullivan leaves and goes to New York. Dan Muse hired here to be the next head coach for the Penguins. And I'll be interested to see how he does. Obviously, a clean slate and getting his first opportunity as a head coach. So we'll have to see if he can make the most of that with this Pittsburgh Penguins team. And Kyle Dubas definitely has a lot of decisions to make this upcoming offseason. And quite a few are UFAs next year as well. So we could see Dubas wheel and deal some trades, move guys around. He could really finally really make his mark on this franchise and really move things around. Taking a look at draft picks for the Penguins, they have their first-round pick, first, third, and fourth, as well as 6th and 7th round picks. They added quite a few other teams' picks here. The Rangers' first round pick, the Capitals' second round pick. They have the Wild and the Senators' third round pick. And in the 5th round, they have Chicago and the Wild's 5th round pick. So Penguins, a lot of draft picks overall. Only 3 in the top 2 rounds of this year's draft. But you can move those third rounders around. You can move picks around to either move up or down or whatever you want to do in the draft, or if you want to use them to acquire a player in a deal. So Dubas definitely has some moves to make here this offseason. Dan Muse, we'll see how he does as a head coach when the season starts next year. Well, this year, but next season. Taking a look at free agents for the Penguins and, of course, their cap space. $24.5 million estimated in cap space for the Penguins. So despite being an older roster with some big contracts, they have cap space now this offseason to work with. 5 RFAs. I think the main guys you're going to want to focus on are Connor Dewar, former Wild player. I love him. Great penalty kill guy, great fourth line guy. Get him re-signed. And then I think you work with the other guys. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, currently projected to be on the top defense pair for the Penguins. I don't know if that's the best decision, but I think you do look to re-sign him. And then you work with the other 3 guys to get them signed. When it comes to the UFAs, I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about Bakanji Amama or Yuna Koppinen. So I'm not exactly sure what happens with those guys, but Matt Nieto, Matt Grzelcyk is an interesting one. He, when you look at UFA defensemen, he had the most points last season. So he may be a coveted player when it comes to defensemen on the free agent market. Overall, a lot of RFA/UFAs for the Penguins, but the RFAs aren't really going to break the bank overall. You're going to have cap left to go and acquire players. Maybe you move some of these RFAs in a deal. Maybe Dubas, really he should be in the trade market, I think, a lot this offseason. If he wants this Pittsburgh Penguins team to turn around, you don't want to have to do a full-on rebuild. You kind of want to retool this lineup. You're going to have to make the right moves here in this offseason. We'll take a look at the forward group for the Penguins as projected right now. Rector McGorty as playing with Sidney Crosby and Brian Rust on that top line. A great opportunity for Mick Gordy here, who did play last year. I believe he played in 8 games. Bear with me for a second. 8 games. He only had 3 points. So not lighting up the score sheet in his first 8 games, but definitely one of the Penguins prospects with potential. So we'll have to see exactly how he does if he is on the top line with Rust and Crosby. Danton Heinen, Evgeny Malkin, and Rickard Rakell on that second line. Rickard Rakell continues to produce for this Penguins team. The last few years, he's been one of the guys you can really count on offensively. Blake Lizotte, Tommy Novak, Noel Achari on the third line, and Connor Dewar, Kevin Hayes, Philip Tomasino on the fourth line, and then you've got some extra guys as well. I will mention, though, Ville Koivunen, who here is listed as kind of the second depth forward, probably in the press box. He had a really great he played 8 games for the Penguins last year and had 7 points, 7 assists. So no goals, but 7 assists in 8 games. That's a player that might get a look here when the preseason begins and training camp. So keep an eye on him. Obviously, if you look at this forward group as it is right now, I see a lot of weaknesses in this forward group. And if Dubas isn't going and acquiring big names and really filling up this offense, then you'll definitely get to see some of these guys like Koivunen and maybe Puustinen to get chances in this lineup. When I look at this forward group, I really think you need to make some additions on the left side, especially that top 6. Rutger McGroarty could definitely be ready for prime time. That's very possible next year. He could have a great season. But if he does struggle, while Danton Heinen on the second line and Blake Lizotte on the third line, you're weak on the left side offensively. I think the Crosby, obviously, and Malkin down the middle, Tommy Novak, I think is going to be a great addition for them when he really gets a chance this season. And then you've got Rust and Rakell on the right side. So top 6 centers, top 6 right wingers are pretty much set, in my opinion. Now, Evgeny Malkin is very interesting. This is his last year of his deal. So not going to say that he gets traded, but if we are seeing Kyle Dubas wheel and deal here, potentially Malkin, $6.1 million left this year. He's a UFA next year. Kevin Hayes, Danton Heinen, Noel Achari, and Blake Lizotte are all UFAs after this season as well. Like I said, Kyle Dubas can really start to make his impression here made on this Penguins lineup this season, this offseason. So, in my opinion, you want to add a couple top 6 forwards. I think 2 top 6 forwards. And looking at this, I think the weakness here is on the left side. So, left wingers available. Pittsburgh 100% should be offering Nikolai Ehlers and Jonathan Drouin deals when free agency opens. I think Jonathan Drouin would be a really interesting addition to that top 6. Obviously, Nikolai Ehlers is going to be the most coveted left wing free agent available. Brad Marchand, why I don't think he's the best option for this Pittsburgh Penguins team is their age. Pittsburgh is old. Crosby's 37. Malkin's 38. Rust is 33. Rakell is 32. Hayes is 33. Chari is 33. Looking at the defense, Carlson's 35. Letang's 38. Ryan Graves 30. Matt Grzelcyk, who's a UFA, is 31. So a lot of players over the age of 30 for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. Adding Marchand, Ben, or JVR into that equation is just making you older and slower. And if the Penguins want to make the playoffs again next year, now they were much closer to bottom of the East than they were to the playoffs. They're going to need They are going to need to add some guys, and I don't think Brad Marchand or Jamie Benn is the right fit for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. I think you look at Nikolai Ehlers, and I think you look at Jonathan Drouin. Maybe Andrei Kuzmenko could be an interesting addition as well. The Penguins need left wingers, so I definitely think you look at a left winger. Looking at the centers available here, this could be interesting as well. The Penguins could go after a center and potentially, obviously, Evgeny Malkin, while I don't know that he gets traded this offseason with 1 year left on his deal, he has had injuries. He's been consistent with dealing with injuries. He only played in 68 games last year, 50 points during that stretch. So looking at it, Malkin is probably going to get injured at some point, and he's probably going to miss time. So it would be really smart for the Penguins to have another center. I think looking at this list, I'd be going after Peter Suter. I'd be going after Ryan Donato. I don't think Sam Bennett comes to Pittsburgh, but I'd be offering him a nice deal as well, just to bolster that top six. And then obviously if you got to put a guy at wing, maybe one of these guys will play wing. Maybe Malkin, if he's healthy, he would play the wing. Crosby's not playing the wing. He's the first-line center, so his spot's safe. But options for Pittsburgh here, you need to bolster that top six, and preferably by a guy who's not almost 35 or older, I think. Right wingers, don't know that there's anyone on this list that really fits. Maybe Brock Besser. Again, I don't think right wing is really the issue for the Penguins. I think they need to figure out that left side. So, again, right wingers do play left. You see it. So maybe they figure out something here. But most of these guys are older. And I don't see Mitch Marner coming to Pittsburgh. It's just obviously Dubas. There's history, obviously, his former general manager with Dubas. But I don't see Marner coming to Pittsburgh. He most likely, if he's going to go to a team who is missing the playoffs, I think it would be a young team that's up and coming. Pittsburgh is kind of the opposite of that. They're kind of an older team that's going downhill. Sorry, Penguins fans, but it is reality. So none of these guys I don't think really fit this Pittsburgh Penguins team. Looking at RFAs, and yes, I didn't mention offer sheet capability earlier on in the season, but I will now. Pittsburgh has full offer sheet capability. So if they want to go out and sign a player to an offer sheet, they're able to do that. And as I said, Pittsburgh, a team that's old. But Dubas doesn't want to go on a full-on rebuild. He kind of wants to retool. And if you want to retool, you're going to want to add players on this list because these guys, some in that 25, 26 age range, but most of the guys here, 22, 23, those are the type of guys that Pittsburgh needs to add because you're getting younger, you're getting faster, and you're building for the future while improving your lineup now. Because any of these guys, if Pittsburgh added any of these guys, depends if it's by offer sheet or by trade, they would be improving their lineup. Trade, depending on what the deal looks like, maybe not. But a lot of these guys, I think, would be great additions to Pittsburgh. Islanders fans will hate me, but Noah Dobson would be a huge addition for this team. We've talked about left wing. You add like a guy like JJ Peterka or Matthew Nyes would be a huge additions to this Pittsburgh left side. I love Dmitry Voronkov. I don't see him going from Columbus to Pittsburgh, though. I think Columbus would match. They have money. So Will Cooley is the interesting one. The Rangers don't have money. Pittsburgh does. Could they make their rivalry with with the Rangers a little bit stronger, especially when it comes to Rangers fans. I think they would be pretty pissed off if the Penguins offer sheeted Cooley and then got him. Now, the only issue with offer sheeting a player for this Pittsburgh Penguins team is if you do go and offer sheet a guy, if you do go and add guys in free agency, but it doesn't work out and you're heavily injured, the guys don't mesh. Look at Nashville. If you go and do what Nashville did and try to add all these pieces and it doesn't work out and you have a horribly awful season, but you traded your draft picks away, well, then you're just in a really bad situation where then it would require a full-on rebuild. I do think the Pittsburgh Penguins should go more of the full-on rebuild route, but it doesn't appear like that's what's happening. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here with RFAs for the Penguins. Looking at the defense core, Pierre-Olivier Joseph and Chris Letang, Ryan Shea and Erik Karlsson, Ryan Graves and Connor Timmins, and then Vladislav Kolyachonok as an extra defenseman. Obviously older, as I said. Erik Karlsson, Chris Letang getting up there. Karlsson still has his offensive talent, offensive production that he brings to the lineup, but the defense is close to inexistent, and he's just awful defensively. So Pittsburgh, looking at this defense group, I think they could add a guy like Dante Fabro, could add a guy like Ryan Lindgren. Maybe you go with a guy like Gavrikov. Ekblad would be a huge addition as well. So I think you want to get one of these younger, or not that they're young, Ekblad's not young, but on this list, one of the younger defensemen. I think the Penguins should look to add at least one defenseman in this offseason, bolster that defense a little bit. They got to add a couple forwards as well in this offseason. But I've said they need to improve the forward group. I've said they need to add at least one defenseman, I think, here in this offseason. But one of their biggest issues here is goaltending. This Penguins goaltending is just awful. All three goalies struggled mightily last year. Nedeljkovic, 14, 15, and 5, 3.12 goals against average, 894 save percentage. Tristan Jarry also had a 3.12 goals against average and an 893 save percentage. So very, very similar numbers, pretty much identical numbers. Save percentage, goals against average. He did have a winning record, 16, 12, and 6, though, for the Penguins. And then Joel Blomqvist, 4, 9, and 1, 3.81 goals against average and 885 save percentage. So goaltending was an issue for Pittsburgh last year. It has been an issue for the Penguins in recent years. And I don't think if you head into the season, even if you add a defenseman and two forwards, like I said, and improve the defense and the goaltending, the defense and the forward group, I still don't think this Pittsburgh Penguins team is sniffing the playoffs with these three goalies in the organization. I think it's time to move on from Tristan Jarry. Of course, easier said than done, I think, at this point. But if Pittsburgh wants to be a playoff team next year, they need to improve this goaltending. You can't just hope that things work out, because I just don't think they will. So, and we haven't seen anything from any of these goalies the last few years that would indicate that things will magically get better this season. So goaltending is pretty rough. And I think Penguins fans will agree with me on that. The goaltending is an issue. Taking a look at goaltenders available. Really, if I'm Pittsburgh, and Anaheim would likely match it. But getting a guy like Lucas Dostal would be absolutely perfect for this Penguins team. The definition of a retool would be adding a guy like Dostal, who's only 24. He's just about to head to the prime of his career in the next few years here, and a lot of potential. He's 24 years old. So that would be a perfect addition to this Penguins team, is to bolster that goaltending with a young guy that you could have for many years. I think I could see the Penguins going after a guy like Arvid Soderblom from Chicago. I don't know necessarily if he would be a huge improvement overall. And then when you do look at the UFAs available, I don't know if any of these guys come in here and save this Pittsburgh Penguins team. It might be more likely that Pittsburgh goes the trade route to improve their goaltending. If there's some other teams that have an extra goaltender available, and Dubas in the scouting department can zone in on that guy and figure out that he's the guy they need. Goaltending is important. There's not a magic answer here, I don't think, besides trying to acquire Lucas Dostal, which I don't think Anaheim would give up, and they would be very, very dumb to give up Lucas Dostal. So question marks here with the goaltending, huge question marks for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. So my offseason tasks for Pittsburgh. Number one, re-sign your RFAs and or trade them. I think there should be Dubas should be very active in the trade market this offseason if he does want to make the playoffs. If he wants to miss the playoffs and wants to rebuild, then you could stand pat, because I think if you just stand pat with how this team is now, I think they will compete for last place in the Eastern Conference. So re-sign your RFAs, add 2 top 6 forwards. If you want to compete this year, you need to add 2 top 6 forwards, trade or free agency. Even if you look at the lineup now and think, well, maybe they only need 1, well, injuries happen. You need to have depth. So 2 top 6 forwards, trade or free agency, add a defenseman as well, improve the defense core, and then figure out the goaltending situation. Much easier said than done, but you got to figure it out. You got to figure out something with that goaltending situation. Look what Colorado did. They just completely changed all their goaltending mid-season and finished with 2 different goaltenders than they started the season off with. That's what I think Pittsburgh should do, but I think they should do it in the offseason. And that is the Pittsburgh Penguins 2025 offseason preview. Make sure to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe if you're new to the channel. Growing every day. I love to see it. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think the Pittsburgh Penguins should do this offseason? Should they go on a full-on rebuild? Should they retool? What kind of offseason tasks do you have for the Penguins? If you're a Penguins fan, let me know what you think they should do here this offseason, even if you're not a Penguins fan. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next offseason preview show.